Hi everyone, this is Dr. Richard Schulman. I'm a psychologist, and I became a psychologist because I wanted to do psychotherapy. I was fascinated with the way human beings tick and the idea that their lives could be changed for the better by an interaction. I was especially enamored with dreams. I love dream interpretation, that's for sure. Anyway, when I got to my clinical psychology program at the University of South Florida, I was a bit chagrined to find that they were insisting that I learn research design and psychometrics, or test theory. Today, I want to talk about the tyranny of tests. As you know, we're inundated with COVID-19 stuff, and one of the things we're most inundated with was how they're going to track us and how we're going to be tested. So anybody getting on an airplane, show your test or show your vaccination passport. Now, the problem here is that almost no one who doesn't do this for a living knows what a test means. What's it good for? A test has two elements: reliability and validity. They seem obvious, but they're not exactly, especially in psychology, because there are formulas that we use to kind of statistically decide if the test is useful. The first one is reliability. Seems pretty obvious. The test has to do the same thing again and again. Okay, there are ways that we calculate that. The second is validity. Does the test what it purports to test? Okay, is it valid? So reliability, validity. In psychology, we have all these formulas that give us evidence that a test is reliable and that it tests what it says it does. Okay, that's psychology. And I did my dissertation on developing a test, so I know a little bit about tests. Now we get to COVID-19. Well, the test for COVID-19 has been confusing, and even when it's not confusing, it's had a few hiccups, well, maybe more than a few. The big one, or the most popular one, I guess, was when the president of Tanzania tested a goat and a papaya and found they both tested positive. Of course, the first batch of tests the CDC sent out were contaminated by coronavirus. There have been all kinds of studies as to whether the tests are accurate, and the amount of false positives and false negatives has ranged from 20% to 80%, depending on which article you read. Well, I'm not so sure I want that number determining whether I can get on an airplane or not, or making me quarantine, or taking my kids away. I guess they're too big now to be taken away. Taking your kids away. That's what they're proposing. That contact tracers will be going into the community, and there'll be forced tests or forced vaccinations, mandatory anything in medicine. I think is a terrible idea. But worse, when we're not sure the tests are reliable or valid. Now I'm going to take the long way around for a minute. We, or any person who wants to go to college, has taken something called the SAT. This was developed by Educational Testing Service around 1949. And as it moves forward, they've developed hundreds of thousands of items for these tests. But if you disagree with their answer, you can't know the item because it's proprietary. But they take on a quasi-governmental kind of agency, because if you want to go to a good college, if you want to go into a certain profession, you've got to take these tests. LSATs, MCATs, GREs. I think it's a little nuts. You know, the lowest score I ever got on a standardized test was in, drumroll please, psychology. I got a doctorate. Okay, So that test may not have been quite so valid for somebody with a different kind of mind like mine. So what do I want? As usual, I want people to do their own homework on this, and I want them to ask uncomfortable questions. Because the idea that some company where the data is proprietary and we can't see how they do it is determining whether I can get on an airplane, or maybe at some point whether I can have a driver's license. It gets more than a little crazy. So, if you're selling crazy right now, we're all stocked up. So ask tough questions. Take control of what you can in this crisis. Take control of your immune system and your emotions. So with that in mind, love each other. I send out love, and I say, peace out.